Have you ever read something that changed your entire outlook on life? A story so powerful it stuck with you for years? Well, I have, and today I'm going to share the 3 manga that did that for me. A Silent Voice. A Silent Voice is the story of a boy named Ishida, who as a child bullied a deaf girl, Nishimiya, because he thought it was cool, and because all the other kids around him gave him validation for it. They told him how cool it was, how funny it was. But one day, when the bullying was taken too far and Nishimiya's parents complained to the school, all of Ishida's friends told on him, and further said he did it all by himself and they played no part, even going so far as to say they told him to stop. All of that was of course a lie, but as a result of the bullying, Nishimiya moved to another school, and Ishida now began to get bullied himself, and as a result of that, he began to recede further and further from society. He began to feel safe in isolation. He began to distrust people as a whole. We then skip forward several years where Ishida is now a teenager and attempts suicide because he comes to feel that his life is not worth living, but is inadvertently saved and accidentally comes into contact with Nishimiya, who is still petrified of him. But now Ishida makes it his life's purpose to make it up to Nishimiya however he can, and in doing so, he begins to learn how to socialize, how to forgive himself, how to help others, how to come out of his depression. It's been 4 years since I saw A Silent Voice, and I still can't bring myself to watch it again. Not because it wasn't good, but because it was too good, too real, too heavy. It changed me. The themes of understanding and forgiveness and depression and grace are so beautifully portrayed, and to the best of my knowledge, at least for me, it has the best musical score I have ever heard in my life. It has brought me to tears in a way I have not felt in years, perhaps a decade. If you have not seen A Silent Voice, I cannot recommend it to you enough. I hope you see this masterpiece the way I do, because it changed the way I see people, the value I place in my actions, my words, understanding that to me, it's just one sentence I said that day out of thousands, but it might be the only one someone else hears that day, and its impacts can be different than what I intended. Vagabond. Vagabond is the story of Miyamoto Musashi, the child of Shinmen Munisai, a man who was such a skilled swordsman in life that he gained the title Unrivaled under the sun. However, as a consequence of his title and reputation, he became an increasingly paranoid man who felt everyone was out to get him in order to gain his title, in order to gain his reputation, and he felt none were more so keen on this than his own son. He figured if there's anyone capable of defeating him, it would be his own son, and as such, he kept his son at a distance, and with Musashi's mother having died during childbirth, this led to Musashi becoming an increasingly feral child, and given the only thing he heard from his father was of strength, Musashi lived for nothing more than absolute strength, and his goal became to be the strongest swordsman alive, and he traveled across Japan to find the strongest warriors and defeat them so he could become invincible under the heavens. However, in his journey to gain that title and find strength, he also had to come to grips and understand what strength is and what does invincible even mean. So he sought the answers from some of the previous generation's greatest swordsmen, and when he had the ability to ask them, hey, what does invincible even mean? We get perhaps my favorite quote from the manga, invincible, it's merely a word. And there starts the philosophical journey of Musashi, who has to find out, what is he doing this for? Why does he kill and maim others for his own glory? And what Vagabond does has opened my eyes to our purpose in life. Our purpose is what we want it to be. However, that purpose shouldn't be earthly riches or fame or anything of that sort, because it will always leave you wanting more, feeling empty. But if you can better yourself in your art for the sake of bettering yourself, you'll never be left wanting. You simply got better because you wish to be better at what it is you do, what it is you like. There was nothing you're seeking from it. There's no value. There's no monetary amount that, oh my God, if I make X amount of money, then I'll be happy. But when you get to X, it won't be enough. You'll want Y, and you get to Y and you want Z, and it'll always keep going. But if I'm doing this for me because I want to be better at what I love, that will be enough. At any point I can say I am content with where I am, or I can keep going forever and be happy at the progression I make without ever comparing myself to, oh my God, look what he's doing, because it doesn't matter. I'm doing it for me. And the art of Vagabond, I believe, is the best of any manga that has ever existed. Now, I'm sure everyone has their own opinion, and that's of course okay, but that's mine. I really believe that Vagabond has the most beautiful art in any manga I've ever seen. It blows my mind. The only one that comes close is my number 3, The Climber. The Climber follows the story of Mori Buntaro, a lonely and socially isolated high schooler who transfers to a new high school and wants for nothing more than to simply be left alone. But he doesn't know how to talk to people and is off-putting, and as such, he gets dared by the jock in the class, who's a rock climber, that if he climbs up the side of the school, they'll leave him alone. And this jumpstarts Mori's rock climbing career of the invincible Mori Buntaro, who wants only to be alone, who wants only to climb mountains all alone and feel okay, and climb higher and higher for more and more dangerous mountains. But because Mori only wants to be alone, he wants to free solo. Free soloing is a climbing term which means to climb without rope or safety equipment, meaning if you fail your climb, you fall to your death. And Mori wants to climb the east face of K2, one of the most dangerous mountains in the world, and the east face, which even in real life to this day has never been climbed with all the equipment and all the tech we have. And on this journey to prepare himself for K2, Mori gets taken advantage of over and over, but because he persists in his dream, climbing, he eventually finds people who truly care for him and want the best for him. Mori's story showed me that if you have a dream or a goal that you really care about, you have to pursue it, even if doing so means you don't get to pursue anything else in life, because all the important stuff you will find along the way. But if you spend your time not focusing on your goals or the things you want, you won't get either. You won't get the stuff that you wanted to achieve, and nor will you get the family, the friends. None of that will happen. I think the saying that it really reminds me of is, if you want to see butterflies, you don't run around trying to catch butterflies. You spend your time building a beautiful garden, and the butterflies will come themselves. The story of The Climber changed me as a person in a really meaningful way, because it taught me that you have to strive for greatness, and in order to do that, you will fail over and over and over again, and that being lonely and being alone isn't the same thing. Each of those stories has shaped me in a way I never expected. They taught me about strength and perseverance and the quiet battles we all face. But the beauty of storytelling is that we each take away something different. So tell me, what story changed you? Thank you so much for listening, and yeah, that's it. Thank you guys.